Welcome back. Alan here. So, every Monday, I get to do something that I really enjoy and I find a lot of fun. It's an Ask Me Anything on my Instagram page. If you haven't participated in it yet, please go over to Instagram and follow me. And then every Monday, I post in my stories and Ask Me Anything, so you can ask me anything. How many times can I say "Ask Me Anything"? It's so stupid. Whatever. Anyway, I enjoy it a lot because I get some very interesting questions and I like to answer them. And I do my best to answer all of the questions that I get. Now, sometimes I can't because I do get a ton of questions that come through, or I get a lot of a lot of questions that are very similar. But just about every time that I do this, there is a topic that comes up without fail. Every week, it pretty much is like clockwork. I can predict when it's going to come up or that it's going to come up. And so I end up giving the same answer every time. And that's fine. I don't mind because I get new followers every week, and this is very helpful for them to be able to see where I stand on this issue and to get some advice on this issue because they probably have the same question and it's probably occurred to them as well. And it doesn't matter how many times I answer it or talk about it, somebody's got it. Like I said, it's because I've got new followers every week, and that's fine. It's okay. And the topic usually revolves around Flutter versus native development. The question goes something along the lines of, what do you think of Flutter? What do you think of cross-platform? Should I go and be a Flutter developer? Should I be a native developer? Those types of questions come up pretty much every week. And there are many reasons people ask this question or many reasons for this topic to come up. But I feel that the biggest reason is because of time. People want to know where to place their time. They want to know where they should be investing their time. Should they be learning Flutter development or native development? Is learning one going to be a waste of time? Am I wasting time learning Flutter because it's new and it's just going to go away? Or am I wasting time learning native because Flutter is coming and Flutter is here and it seems to be gaining popularity? Time is a precious commodity. We cannot create more of it. We cannot get more of it. Money, we can always make more. We can always get more. Clothes, we can always do the same thing, etc. But time, we can't. It's always diminishing. It's always going away. So it would make sense that people would be concerned about where they're spending their time. And the fear is wasted time. They don't want to be wasting their time on something that's going to be gone within a couple of years or even right away. They don't want to be, they are afraid of becoming obsolete because they spent their time on something that went away. People don't want their skills to be left in the dust. Now, I could write a whole book on why that type of view in software development is unhelpful, is wrong, and shouldn't be, we shouldn't even think about it. And I know of many other people who have written things very similar to what I would say to that. But I'm not going to talk about that here because that's not what this video is about. This video is about something else entirely. No, this video is about where I think mobile development will be going. So why do I bring up time? Why do I bring up this Flutter versus native? Because I want to share with you where I think the future of mobile is and where you should be placing your time. and helping you understand that this Flutter versus native question and basically what answer you should be giving yourself. Now, this fear of wasting time comes from a fear of the future. And it's because the future is uncertain, that we don't know what's going to be happening. Well, we don't know what's going to be happening much less 5 minutes from now, much less 10 years from now, 100 years from now. But there is one certainty, and the certainty is that there's always going to be change. Things are going to be changing in the future or throughout time. So where we currently are in mobile development, in the software world, is not where we are going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even 1 year from now. We could have something that comes out tomorrow that completely changes everything in the software world. I mean, that's true. So to be upfront, I believe that the future of mobile lies in the web. And bear with me for just a little bit as I explain why and talk to you a little bit about where you should be placing your time. Let's think about this for a little bit. It's 2007, right? So at the time of recording this video, that's about 14 years ago. If I'm doing my math right. Could be doing it wrong. The first iPhone was introduced by Steve Jobs. And when it was introduced, he said we had all of the apps we could ever want at our fingertips. Now, it would almost be a year until the iPhone or the iOS SDK came out for developers to develop apps. So what was he talking about? What did he mean by us having all of the apps that we could ever want at our fingertips? Well, he meant the web browser. You see, he had a vision of the iPhone as a gateway to the web. He saw all of the apps just being available to the users on the web. That's why they included a web browser on the first iPhone. Now, we didn't have all of the fancy JavaScript libraries that we do now back then. I mean, I remember those days. I was developing stuff on the web during those days, and we had to use all kinds of crazy things to try and get a nice, good web app working. We didn't have all of the awesome stuff. We didn't have Angular. We didn't have jQuery. jQuery was, we had no clue we had no thoughts of it. None of it. Our JavaScript was so minimal, so small, so barely anything at that time. I mean, you would be amazed that we got anything done. I even worked on a project called Google Web Toolkit, GWT. The idea was we coded the app in Java, and then the app would be transcompiled from Java to JavaScript to be able to be put on the web. And that's a long time ago. That was pretty bad. So, what am I talking about? Well, this is my point. Web technology has come a long way since the first iPhone. We can achieve a near native experience on the web, on a mobile web browser, that we couldn't have achieved 14, 15 years ago. Just imagine what it's going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if we can get near native experience now, then why are we developing native apps? I mean, the holy grail of mobile development is a single code base for web, iOS, and Android. And web technology promises to be that for us in the future. And we're almost there, particularly with progressive web apps. I mean, they're pretty awesome. But we do run into some issues with progressive web apps and the current mobile world, the current JavaScript world. The biggest pain point is audio visual. If you want to do something audio or something video or some app that has one of those two components in it, you are much better going native right now than you are anything cross-platform, anything non-native, any progressive web app or anything. As soon as the PWAs can overcome that, you're going to see a huge shift. You're going to non-native, any progressive web app or anything. As soon as the PWAs can overcome that, you're going to see a huge shift. You're going to see a big change in the way that we do apps. Now, why not Flutter? Why am I thinking of the mobile web and not Flutter? Well, I mean, Flutter covers Android, iOS, web, and desktop. So what's going on? Well, in my view, Flutter's main drawback is Dart. Dart is a pretty good language. It's not bad. I mean, I've written some apps in it. I've played around with it. It's very C-like. It's familiar. Particularly if you've written Java and C or C++ or anything. Dart is very familiar for you. However, when you try to switch to Dart from Swift or Kotlin, it's like you're going back and working in Objective-C or Java. It feels like a step back for the developers. So a lot of people who have developed apps and been developing native apps and been using Swift and Kotlin, we don't like it. We don't like Dart. We don't want to work with Dart because it's very much like how it used to be for us. And we look at it and we just, it's not a fun, enjoyable language to work in, unlike Kotlin or Swift. And so that makes it very frustrating for us as native developers to want to try and go and adopt Flutter. And I'm not saying that's the only reason for everybody. I think that is the main reason, the main thing that I've seen with a lot of people is they just look at Dart and they're like, nope, I don't want anything to do with it. And it's the same thing with for the web developers. They've been developing using JavaScript and TypeScript for quite a while now. And some PHP, but we're not going to talk about that. And there are lots of really wonderful web technologies in JavaScript and TypeScript that have been coming out lately. Why would they want to switch over to Dart or switch over to Flutter? So you see, there's a huge thing to overcome here for Flutter. Flutter, I think, is it's a little too early. It came a little too early for things. And their choice of using Dart instead of JavaScript to develop Flutter I think it was a bad idea. My opinion. You can disagree. I don't care. So unless there's a major change in Dart, you're really not going to see too many people who are native developers adopting Dart and adopting Flutter. So there you have it. Over the next couple of years, I believe that web technology is going to catch up to native development and is going to slowly overtake native development. And it's, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time. So what should you do now? Well, You got three things going on, and those things depend upon where you're at. If you are a native developer and have been doing native development for a while, I suggest picking up some web development. Learn how to build a web app. I mean, that's pretty important. That way, when you start seeing web apps overtake native, you can easily switch over and move on. I guarantee you the lessons that you've learned in native are going to carry over to web apps. I guarantee it. If you are just now learning native and you're going through the process of learning native, keep going. Keep it up. Keep going. I don't want you to stop, because there's going to be a demand for native developers for a couple of years to come. And like I told like I said, all of the lessons that you learn from native development are going to transition over to web development. Now, for you who is just starting out, you don't know which one to choose, you want to know which one to choose, then here's the thing. Play with each of the different technologies. Play with native, play with web apps, play with cross-platform. Go and try a little bit of each. Just play a little bit and figure out the one that really ignites that passion in you, the one that really gets you excited, that you want to go and that you want to learn. Because if you have to force yourself to learn something, you're not going to learn it. It's not fun. So there you have it. If you're a native developer and have been doing it for a while, go and learn a web technology, build a web app. If you're learning native development right now, keep it up and then go and learn web technology. If you're just starting out, find the one that interests you the most. Don't be worried and don't be too concerned about obsolescence. Don't worry that your skills are going to go by the wayside, because they're not. Okay? All right. There we go. That's my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on where I think we're going to be going over the next couple of years with with mobile technology and stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. If you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section about why you disagree. Please give me a good reason. Don't just say I disagree. Just give me a good reason. But otherwise, if you really enjoyed this and you kind of like my thoughts and stuff on this, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell too, so that you know the next time that I post a video. If you liked this and you agree with what I said, then hit that like button, because it really feeds the algorithm. And when you feed that algorithm, this message gets out to more and more people. I feel like every content creator says that. So, hey, I have to say it. Anyway, if you actually really enjoyed this and you think that somebody else would enjoy it, please share it with them. I would really appreciate that. Do it as a favor to me too. All right. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Yeah, nothing more.